Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Apex F1 podcast. I'm Meredith, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Paul and Josh. Josh and Paul, how are you today?
Doing really good. Doing really good.
Doing well. Great weekend. Happy Monday. Can't complain.
Yeah, it was a good weekend, and we did take a little bit of a break last week, and we did get to just kind of have a little bit of refresh. We are on that F1 summer break, so we too needed a summer break. Paul
Absolutely.
and I got to hop on and do a little mini-sode whenever we got the news about Horner. But Josh, you were on vacation in Mexico. So before we even get into anything today, I would absolutely love to capture your thoughts and reaction. I know I got to read a little bit of the texts, but yeah, let's just start off there, Josh. What are your thoughts on the Horner situation?
Yeah, it was absolutely wild. Like I told you guys, I had left my phone in the room at the resort. So I was looking over my wife's shoulder as she kind of looked at some news articles, and I just happened to see a picture of Christian Horner, and I was like, "Oh, look, it's Christian Horner." And I didn't read the headline, and then I kind of glanced at it, and I was like, "Oh, wait a minute." Wait a minute. I was like, give me that. And I took her phone and I was reading it and I was like, oh my God, I leave my phone for 10 minutes. And literally the biggest news in several years, the biggest change to Red Bull in their history. That's just an absolutely wild circumstance to happen. What's crazy is we really thought this was coming next or last year. After all
Yep.
the Horngate stuff, all the pictures were released, and the expectation was fully that he was gone last season. So to kind of have this midsummer, disaster right out the gate was really interesting. It was not on any of our lists on things that could potentially happen. Once you start
No.
reading into the potentials on why they actually fired Christian, they haven't officially said why, but if you start reading into the conspiracies and maybe not so conspiracy theories, there's some very legitimate reasons that kind of show maybe the direction that team is headed or think that they're heading, and they're trying to curtail it. So I was shocked. I know you guys were just as shocked as I was watching y'all's reaction video. Um, but I think that the fallout from this has yet to be seen in its full entirety. So I'm kind of interested to see this weekend. Obviously, we'll have full Sky Sports action, all the reporting that we could get. So I'm sure that they'll come up with something. And, I'm kind of curious to see like how the media spins it or doesn't spin it or finds new information. So I guess we'll just have to see this weekend.
So why do
So
you think
excited for the media coverage this weekend. Like, I hadn't really thought about that till I sat down to do my predictions. And I was just thinking about how really the entire paddock and the entire world of racing is going to be a buzz this weekend about what it's like to see Red Bull in this new era without Christian Horner.
right?
So it is really going to be a change for all of us.
Josh, why do you think Red Bull did it? Do you think it was to keep face with Max and keep him? Do you think it was everything that's been going on the last couple of years and the decline of the team? What are your
So I
thoughts?
think that this is kind of multi-layered, right? Christian Horner's become kind of this problematic figure for Red Bull. He's been their mainstay for decades, right? He's performed very well up until now, not had any issues, brought home many constructors. My lamp is apparently flickering. Is Christian Horner's ghost.
It's the spirit of Christian Horner,
I
the
think,
ghost of the
It's,
principal's
yeah,
past.
so I don't know
I
what's
love
happening in
it.
here, but uh, back to it. I think that Christian has had his success. Um, Two parts to this. I think one, the ownership change at Red Bull. There was some movement with the shareholding, and that potentially could have changed maybe the dynamics of how the board acts or how the management group thinks, and that could have kind of caused some of this. Maybe some people wanted Christian gone a long time ago, and now they just finally had the all the chips in the right basket, so they could move him out of the way. Dogs playing with toys. This is a disaster. I think that a part of it as well is Max. Max is looking elsewhere. The car's not performing. All indications are that that 26 car may not be very strong. There's questions as to what the power unit's going to be and how it's going to perform. So I think that all in all, I think the move was to get somebody fresh in charge, to kind of rebuild the team. They've lost their best aero guys. They've lost Jonathan Wheatley, their sporting director. They've lost several key figures in that team. And I think the idea is, well, we've already lost a lot of the key figures. We may be losing our main driver. Why don't we just start over fresh? Start over, get a completely fresh group in here, and just see if we can remedy the situation and kind of drag anything out of 25, but with the expectation that we're going to be stronger in 26. So I'm curious to see how much rebuilding they actually managed to do over the next year. But I think That's the main reason I think Christian. I wouldn't put all the eggs in the Max Verstappen, Jos Verstappen basket. I don't necessarily think that's 100%
I
why.
agree.
I think that that may be, part of like the turmoil in the team that, there's like kind of rival factions, but I don't necessarily think that's why Christian was let go at this stage. If they were going to let Christian go just off of driving, off of the driver selections, they would have done it either after Checo or earlier in the season when with Max's comments very early on Christian. So that's where I'm at with it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think
I agree with all of it. I definitely think that the shareholder situation like played a part in it. I love that we're all dog owners. So it's like
yeah.
Yeah,
Biscuit, my corgi, here's your dog. And
Yeah,
she's
see,
like, yeah,
mine's just right there hanging out.
I love it. Now Biscuit's like, I want to go
mine's been
outside. It's
asleep
like,
the
no, you
whole
wanted to be
time
in here.
until I decided to start talking, and now he was up and wanting to play. So
Yep.
Welcome to podcasting with dogs. No, but I think
Sure.
I think all your things were spot on. I'd read a lot of the stuff about the shareholders and like that definitely made sense to me. So I don't think it was any one thing. I think it was the combination. And I agree that it was just time for a fresh start. But I like that it's not a completely fresh start. Like I think Laurent has done a phenomenal job at raising bulls. I think it was a really smart move to go somebody in the team who knows the team and is well respected, but is enough of that fresh start that it does give it a little bit of a clean slate. It's not like it's not like he was somebody that was on the Red Bull team. Like he's been focusing on VCARB, and I think that he's shown a lot of really strong leadership. I think the drivers within the Red Bull Driving Academy have really shown a lot of respect for Laurent. So I'm very, very excited for him. I think Alan is going to do a great job stepping up at VCARB. So I do think that while it is a fresh start on the leadership, it's not all fresh. It's not like they said, we're going to do a clean sweep, fire everybody, bring in a whole new squad. They really promoted two people who are very well respected within that entire academy and family. And so I think it's a good move. And I am like you said, Josh, like I mean, I could see a phase now in which I could potentially become a Red Bull fan, depending on what happens with the driver lineup, because I really love Laurent, and I can't wait to see what him and Alan do with those
now,
teams.
do you think that Laurent is here to stay, or do you think he is more of a placeholder or the interim principal? If say another big name was to become available, maybe in the likes of Fred Vasseur or someone else, do you think that Red Bull would jump at somebody like that, or do you think they stick with Laurent and with his experience within the Red Bull organization that they leave him alone?
My gut says that they would keep him. My gut says they would keep him because he's done a great job of promoting those drivers. I mean, for years, we've seen a lot of drivers grow up from the junior team and move up. And, like whether they were Toro Rosso, AlphaTauri, car Racing Bulls, whatever they were, Laurent's done a really great job of really developing those drivers. And I think all those drivers are very vocal about the feedback that he's been a great mentor, a great coach. And I think what a great opportunity for him to step into this role. I would potentially see this as an audition. I think he is in, he was named it. And I think this is his audition of let's see what you do with this team. So I do think that it is with intention to see how he does in the role to keep him there. That's my opinion. What are
Oh,
your thoughts, Paul?
absolutely. I mean, it's a result oriented sport. I mean, if he can show that the team is making strides to moving up and making positive strides, I don't see why they get rid of him. And honestly, I don't see any big name coming out in the next couple years or in the next year to take that spot. So if he's well respected amongst the Red Bull ranks. It seems like throughout the last couple of weeks, a lot of drivers have come out and said great things about him. So he already has the respect of the quote unquote locker room, which is huge. Especially being the new face, taking things over. So if the results are there on track, I can definitely see them keeping him for next year. And yeah,
I think time will only tell. And, this is his first time to show up and really see what we can do with him in that role and with Alan in the new role with VCarb. But there have been a lot of other whisperings. We thought silly season would bring a lot of announcements. This was not the one that we were expecting. And there is
no,
still time. We made some wild card predictions. So before we went on our little summer break, we had some wild card predictions. I predicted that there would be a Botas announcement. Josh, you predicted that Botas would sign with Cadillac and Doohan would sign with Alpine. And Paul, you predicted that we would have a Checo announcement. And so where we sit today, still with a couple of days left in the week, we do not have any confirmations of anything, but there have been a lot of whisperings that we haven't gotten to really talk about. And I think the biggest one that we may want to talk about is the Max to Mercedes rumors, Toto and Max's jets being in Sardinia at the same time. So what are your thoughts? What are your takes? What do you think is happening outside of us not having any confirmed news? What are y'all's thoughts?
I mean, the smoke just seems to be getting thicker as the days and weeks go on. And the old saying, where there's smoke, there's fire. So I definitely see, man, I hate to say it, but I definitely see Max going to Mercedes. And in the last few weeks, we've seen Checo's name a lot more in the news linked to Cadillac. There's been talks about of Valtteri Bottas, Sergio Perez pairing with Cadillac, which would be great. Two very veteran drivers, and which is personally what I think a new team like them need. So, man, it's going to be an interesting few weeks.
What are your thoughts, Josh?
I think Max is looking what is going to be the best thing I can do right now to set myself up for another chance at a world championship before I leave the sport. I don't think Max is looking for this like massive career Fernando Alonso-esque. He's looking to maximize his current time in F1 and get what he can out of it before he leaves to go on to other adventures, right? And it looks to be, from everything we can tell, Red Bull is, obviously now with a change in leadership, with question marks on their performance this year as well as the potential for next year. I think Max is looking for the next best option. I think Mercedes has had a good track record with this kind of style of car that we're going to see in 26, as far as being more power unit specific and a lot less aerodynamic, or focusing a lot less on the aerodynamics on the vehicle. So I think Max is looking at the opportunity at Mercedes very, very closely, and obviously with their coinciding flights to Sardinia, I do think that it's more likely than not it's happening. I think it is happening. I think that they are going to announce it sooner than later. The questions obviously is who's going to leave Mercedes? They're kicking out George? They're kicking out Kimi? I think they're kicking out George. I think George will go. I could see them flipping,
Well,
and that could be very interesting.
the latest reports are that if that happens, Kimi goes to Alpine,
Don't see
and
that.
it's a George
That is
Max
No,
pairing.
nuts.
Listen, all I can say is what
I've
I've
seen that
seen.
too, but
I
that is
know, but here is
wild. There's no way.
we all
No, I
watched the
agree.
seat, right? We all watched the seat. We all know how Toto feels about Kimi. Toto passed on Max all those years ago, and it was one of his bigger regrets. Now, he's had a phenomenal situation, and he's had a phenomenal career with Lewis. George has been very loyal, come up through the ranks from Williams to Mercedes. But Toto is not about to let the potential next Max Verstappen get away from him. I see no world in which Toto keeps Max and George, because George doesn't want to give up that number one driver position now. He's not going to acquiesce, especially given the relationship between Max
They'll
and
never
George
be
on track
teammates.
over the last 2 seasons. They'll never be teammates. I could see me being a super big Mercedes fan if we had a Max Kimi lineup, because of the mentorship and guidance I think Max would give to Kimi. And I think Toto knows that Kimi would grow faster with Max than George would grow with Max as a teammate.
Yeah, that is.
I would agree.
I was going to say that
Go
that's
ahead, Josh.
absolutely what I think. I think that Toto is looking at this as Max can come over here and train Kimi. Perfect. Best of both worlds. I get the world championship driver. I get the potential next best world championship driver. Best of both worlds. Kimi's going to get raised up by the best driver in our generation, and I think he sees that as like the perfect driver pairing, which it realistically probably is. It probably is the perfect driver pairing.
Honestly,
I don't think of any better
the
one.
more I think about it,
I think that's it. So I don't see a world where they loan out Kimi Antonelli to Alpine. What is the benefit of going to Alpine other than
we've seen
There
what
is none.
happens
no,
when rookies go to
terrible
Alpine.
idea?
It can destroy their
Yeah,
career
yeah.
early
Franco's
on. Like,
probably
we've watched it happen with Jack. We're watching it happen with
yeah.
Franco. If a rookie goes out on loan to Alpine, it could ruin their career. Whereas you have a driver like Pierre Gasly with Alpine right now, who has accomplished some stuff this season. He's scored some points. He has found some stuff. Now, has Alpine had bad weekends? You betcha. You betcha. More bad ones than good ones. But a seasoned driver like Pierre can really give feedback on the car and improve the car and do something with it, whereas a rookie on Alpine is essentially a death sentence, in my
Yes.
opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd agree.
So I just hope it. I hope don't do that to Kimmy. Don't
So,
don't make a
Josh,
whole documentary about Kimmy getting the
And then
seat
kick him out
and
after
then
1 year.
fill away his seat.
so Josh, I got one more question. Does Horner get another shot at F1 being a team principal, or is Horner pretty much just done and just needs to
So he
retire?
technically is still on staff and payroll at Red Bull.
He's still on the payroll, and he'll be on the payroll with Red Bull for a
Right.
while.
So I'm not sure what exactly they have planned for him, if he's going to stay on as kind of an advisor and just the background, or it's kind of yet to be seen.
I think it's
I
more of
think that,
a stay at home and we'll
and
send
that
you
may be
money.
it as well. I don't think Christian's going to want to stay there. Christian's going to feel like the rug got pulled out from under him. He's not going to want to have anything to do with Red Bull anymore. I could see him taking a few years off, and there's two options that he has. He can go the route of Gunther Steiner and become a pundit and kind of tell all and he's always been a good media presence. He's always been good on camera. So I could see him kind of moving in that direction with his career, or his choice is to lay low for a few years and try to pick up a team principal spot at another team and maybe try to build it up to if somebody was to give him free license to build the team in the way he wants to, I could see that. But I don't think he's going to go to a Ferrari where he's got to follow the template, right? He's been in charge and had too much power for way too long. I don't think he wants to go somewhere and just play the part and just be the face of the team without a whole lot of ability to make changes. So I think time will tell. I don't even know if he knows what he wants to do at this point. He probably hates Formula One right now, for the way it's treated him. Several years now he's been just the center of attention and for all the wrong reasons. So I'm not sure.
Just say you make your bed, you
Yeah,
lay in
no, he
it.
did it to himself, no
So
I agree.
question.
if he doesn't like the attention he's been garnering, he should
Yep,
act different.
he
So
did it to
I
himself.
I really hope he takes this time to have some personal reflection.
Yeah,
I know that
self-reflect is
things with
big.
I know that things with Jerry financially also aren't very great. Her company that she runs, like a media and entertainment company, is also not in a very good financial position. I know that with them Spice Girls kind of like going on tour again, like they think they're going to make up the revenue and be able to cover that. But I would hope that Christian would look at this as an opportunity to reflect and grow and do some personal work that I think is long overdue. Any negative attention that he got, he's brought on himself. And I would hope that as we've gotten a little bit further into this and kind of like we talked about with the F1 movie and the way that women were presented in the F1 movie and the way that this whole Christian Horner situation played out with the allegations that came against him from a female employee that is actually still legally playing out. Like it's still happening. There's still a civil suit against him. I would hope that the Formula One world would go, we really messed up. We fumbled the bag on that Horner situation up front. And maybe now they'll go, how about we don't? And he needs to take some time to reflect and grow and change and mature. And I hope that no other F1 teams touch him until everything with that civil suit is settled. And that Red Bull employee who has still been out on leave this entire time. She has been on paid leave. I hope that they can reinstate her or give her the choice of what she wants to do and that Horner doesn't have another opportunity in F1 until that situation is put to bed. That's my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
it'll
don't.
be
I
interesting to see
personally
how
don't see
everything
him
plays
growing a
out.
lot. He's gotten away with a lot of stuff in 20 years. I don't see him personally making some moves. So I the only other spot I really see him potentially fitting in the future is at Alpine that already has some questionable leadership with Flavio making calls and
I was
decisions
just
there.
about to say I could
Yeah,
see
that
a
that
world where he comes
yeah, that's what I
back
was gonna say
at like
too.
Flav. I could see him coming back in like 15 years, back as the leader of Red Bull in another dire straight situation, and we'll say the same things that people have said about Flav, and they'll be like, oh yeah, remember that guy? He sent a bunch of questionable pictures to a female employee, and then now he's back on the pit wall. So I don't know. I could see that.
I have a feeling we're gonna see him back sooner than we think.
I mean,
I
at
don't
this
think it's
point,
gonna
I
be.
don't put anything
Yeah,
past F1 and the teams, especially teams that are in like desperate financial situations and are hoping that like somebody who has an established track record like Christian Horner with his team performance could maybe come in and turn something around. So, unfortunately, Paul, I do think you are correct.
yeah. Also, can I just say one last thing before we move on? F1 fans are crazy. I would have never thought to find the flight logs of Toto's jet and Max's jet to figure out. I don't have that kind of time in the day.
I don't
I was
either.
talking to my brother about that the other day. I'm like, who's got time for this crap? Okay, let me pull up the flight logs to figure out where they're at and calculate it all.
Wouldn't even know
F1
how
fans,
to.
and no, yeah, I mean, I know it's public information, but where do you go to find this stuff?
You
F1 fans are another level
you
of
have obviously
crazy.
never been a Tennessee fan in the middle of a coaching search because that was like old hat. Like they were always tracking the university's planes. Where are they going? Who are they going to talk to? It's nuts. There are people that have access to way more
Man,
information than you could ever imagine, and they figure this stuff out so quickly.
just yeah.
It's mind-boggling.
Where do you go for this? Do you just Google flight log
Yeah, they're all
plans?
yeah.
I
Yeah,
need to
it's a flight
know.
tracker.
Fair
I,
enough.
I don't even want to know what you do in all your spare time, Josh. Track
No,
people's
I don't do.
flights
I
and
don't care
stuff.
about it at all. But I've seen it play out in live
Listen, Josh
time.
is a big Tennessee Volunteer
Yeah,
fan. He's
I I've seen
diehard.
it play out in live time before. There was riots in Knoxville over coaching searches. I'm aware of how these work.
I love it.
Listen,
Well, any other
SEC
thoughts
football is a
on our
religion out
silly
here.
season rumors? Any other thoughts? Do you think we're gonna get anything before this weekend? What are your thoughts?
No, I think if we haven't gotten anything now, I don't think we're going to get anything. I
I
think we're
agree.
just,
I
it's going to
my
be a
gut
few
was
more
telling me.
weeks.
Go ahead.
No, it's going to be a few more weeks. I think Cadillac needs to start speeding up what they're going to do. So I think another month or two, we're definitely going to get something from them. But time is definitely ticking for that team.
Do y'all feel like maybe Horner's announcement was like, dang, it stole the thunder? Do you feel like maybe some teams had some announcements and like wanted it to be big and in the news, and because of the Horner announcement, maybe some teams postponed making some of their announcements?
No, not really.
Maybe.
I don't think so. I think that if you're going to make an announcement, like what the ones we were expecting were like drivers lineup changes, right? We were expecting maybe the Alpine switch or something like that. I think that they would make that switch and announce it, and they probably wouldn't really care about necessarily what the media outlook is on it because Alpine's a disaster anyway. Now for Cadillac, I am surprised we didn't get a Cadillac announcement. I'm not sure what they're waiting on.
Was reading some stuff that Cadillac is, rather than focusing on their driver announcement, they're really focusing on the engineers and the technical team that they can recruit, and that they're prioritizing that staffing first. And I was like, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. And my friend Leah, that's Lights Out Leah on TikTok, she posted about it, and there was a video that got like a lot of traction, and there were a lot of people up in the comments saying the same thing, that Cadillac is really focusing on prioritizing that technical, engineering, mechanical staff, and nailing that down before they get the drivers nailed down, since they're not really looking to pursue drivers that are currently within contract on other teams.
I have been seeing a lot of content about like job openings that Cadillac has and like talking very highly about it.
All my friends have been like sending me like all these postings that like, and I'm like, no, I, this is a hobby. If this hobby starts to pay the bills, it's because we're blowing up. I'm like, I can't go
Yes,
play for a
absolutely.
team.
Yeah, none
It's
of my skills transfer over to an F1 team, sadly.
Unfortunately
So
not.
I'm kind of SOL on that one.
well,
Yeah,
let's.
I don't think Cadillac's looking for two paramedics. So
Unless they
They
are.
might
Unless
be.
they are. Hey, here we go.
yeah,
Unless they are.
if you're listening, we got two firemen paramedics. So hey, call.
I'm honestly,
Hey, I can run your social media.
yeah,
I can run social
Done,
we're in.
media and
done.
website. I can do your website. I can do your marketing.
Speaking of social media,
This is now the Apex F1 podcast formal bid to help partner with Cadillac F1 team.
Hashtag.
speaking of social media,
Oh my gosh,
I'm
I love it.
surprised that there hasn't been more from Cadillac in as a social media area space, right? Like there's,
But I
I
think
don't feel
if
like
you
there.
look at the social media landscape space of what motorsports is trending towards, it's mostly driver content. And then like you think about the teams like VCarb that are getting a lot of traction on social media because it is driver generated content. So maybe they're holding off a little bit on that presence because most of the content that's getting picked up in the social media world is that driver engagement, drivers participating in trends. Like we saw a lot of this stuff with like Liam and Isaac at Miami. Their Miami content was amazing. Everybody loved it because it was two drivers picking up on social media trends, doing quotes, doing things like that. And so we're seeing that get a lot of attractions, and teams doing like actual like race results and race clips and recaps. So maybe Cadillac, once they do that driver pairing, will start to tap into a lot of that and being able to like post stuff to get hyped about the driver lineup. But I was with you, Josh. I was kind of like, man, especially when they announced and they came on and like did their car kind of like the little reveal, right? They did that like hype video. I was surprised they weren't going to start putting out more content, but I do think for them it makes sense if they're seeing what other teams are being successful with on social media. It is content that they can't really tap into yet. So I think once they make their pairing announcement, I think we'll see a lot more of them on social media.
All right.
Yeah, their Instagram page only has 7 posts, and
Well,
yeah,
there's
they're
a is
not
that the
posting
official
very
one? Because there's
much.
like a
So
fan run page that has been posting a lot.
yeah, this is the official one, the one that I
Okay.
just found on
Yeah, and
on Instagram. So
they don't even have a TikTok yet. So like for the Cadillac, if you notice, like Terry Crews went to Miami F1 race with Cadillac, and in all his posts, he was just tagging the regular Cadillac TikTok. So it's like little things like that that like I pick up on and notice. So I think as we see those driver pairing announcements, we'll start to see an uptick in their social media engagement for sure. And I can't wait till they drop that
I
merch with
know.
Tommy Hilfiger. It's going to be amazing. Okay, well, let's shift gears. Let's talk Spa. We are finally back with F1 racing this weekend after a good little couple week break. And in my opinion, Spa is one of those absolute iconic tracks. And it is like one of those ones I look forward to every single year. But before we dive in, I want to turn it over to you, Josh. You're kind of like our resident like track nerd. And so I wanted to see if you have any like track thoughts, reviews, facts, fun little tidbits for us before we dive into predictions.
Yeah, Spa's a great track in Belgium. It's been around since the beginning of Formula One. Now it's had several changes to the track layout over the years. Most of your typical corners that you like, Eau Rouge, the bus stop, all those have been around for most, if not all, of the time that the circuit's been there. I like this one particularly because there has some very long DRS straights and they provide quite a bit of overtaking opportunities. Now, there hasn't been a lot of overtaking in years past. It it's a very long circuit. It's one of the longest on the calendar. So it tends to get the cars very spread out, and it really does show that difference in pace between cars and how quick they can get kind of spaced out. So unless that there's, if like let's say McLaren is very, very quick, they're coming up with a floor upgrade this weekend. If they're that much faster, no one's going to be able to touch them because they're going to get out of that DRS very quickly and they're going to be gone. Um, my favorite fun fact about Spa is I'm pretty sure it's the only track that after the race they do not do a full cool down lap. They they
you're
just
right. This is the issue that we ran
into a
into with the underweight
right.
last year.
Yes.
Remember?
When yep.
Yeah,
After they got was it Lewis? No, it was uh,
it was
George.
George.
George got
George,
disqualified.
Yeah, they only make it halfway and then they turn
Yeah,
around.
they just go and they go back.
I did not
They
know
go
this.
down the pit straight. They make the hairpin and they turn around and come back up the pit lane. So literally just right there at the end of the track, they turn around and go back up the pit lane. So there's no time for them to pick up rubber
So
that they usually
no.
do to try to get weight up. So we saw that affect the teams last year. Hopefully, the people learn their lesson and they figure that one out. That's an embarrassing.
Yeah, I remember when my brother told me about it. I'm like, dude, you're full of shit. Like, there's no way. And yeah, you're right. That is the only track they do not go completely around.
Is wild. Well, and I'm just because I've been in such like WEC mindset and endurance racing, and like my feed has still been all of like the footage from like the 6 hours of Spa. My brain is going to like, okay, well, before 6 hours of Spa, I was driving the track a lot on the F1 game. And I was like, okay, I need to hop back on the sim this week and drive the track so I can like get excited and get familiar with it. And
Yeah.
I'd like I just think of that one, the Eau Rouge with and the fireworks going off from 6 hours of WEC. And I'm like, it's on my bucket list. And do I think I want to do an F1 race at Spa? Duh, I want to go to every track. But I'm like, would I rather go to Spa for 6 hours of WEC or would I rather go to Spa for F1? I think I'd rather go for 6 hours of WEC. Like that sunset there with
Yeah, that would be really neat.
I think it's such a cool track, such an iconic setting, but definitely on my bucket list to go to. Y'all, we're talking about some upgrades. So, and I know we were chatting a little bit before, but we know, McLaren's going to be bringing floor upgrades. Paul, I believe you said Ferrari's bringing floor upgrades.
Ferrari's bringing their biggest
Yeah,
upgrade of the year with floor and
suspension,
uh
rear suspension.
yeah, and I think I saw that George and no, Lewis and Charles were on the same working it and it had some good results. So hopefully, when he gets on track he can actually produce. So Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I think Williams was
And then I
also.
believe we also said
Yeah,
Williams.
Williams is bringing
Yeah.
upgrades. I'm sure there's more. This is a good one that a lot of teams will bring upgrades since they've had several weeks to kind of work on them.
Yeah.
To
Very
work on
good.
things. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I'm excited for this one. And, I every time we go back on like the European time zone, I'm like, all right, morning, bright and early. I'll be ready for it, which works out great because this weekend is also IndyCar at Laguna Seca and I'll be there. So I was like, okay, schedule's working out great for me to be able to get up, watch Spa, and then be able to have time to get out to the track in California. I was like, yes, double race day. This is iconic.
I think this
So
race is 8 a.m. 8 a.m. our time.
yes. 8 a.m., 8 a.m.
8
y'all's
a.m.
time. So I was like, I'm going to be on early California time. So I was like, I'm going to have plenty of time. Wake up, cars and coffee, nothing better. Cars, coffee, and a coastline in my view.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Josh and I will be at work, so we're gonna have to figure out a couple seconds to
I'll just be
watch it real
blowing up your
quick.
phones.
Yeah, absolutely.
I usually just turn my Do Not Disturb on and watch
Okay.
it when I can.
I know.
Just record it.
All right. Do we want to do
Yeah,
spa predictions?
I've seen Josh at the hospital finding a little corner, just watching it on his phone real quick. What are you doing? Watching F1. Mind your business.
Yeah, don't tell me anything about it. I'm not.
Don't spoil it.
Yeah.
I won't
Yeah,
spoil
don't
it for
ruin
you
it.
then. I'll wait for y'all to text me on Sunday so that I can give you my thoughts.
Perfect. Yeah, let's get to these predictions.
Okay, Josh, you are in the lead with 9 points. So, Josh, give me your 1, 2, 3, and your shocker prediction.
All right, 1, 2, 3 is not too dissimilar from what we've seen over the last several races. I'm going to take. I think Lando's on the hot streak. I think he's had a good summer break to kind of enjoy himself after having a nice couple of races. I'm taking Lando, Oscar in second. I think McLaren's just going to be way too quick. They're already fast now, and with a floor upgrade, if it's anything like what they've brought in the past, it's going to be very good. And then third place, I'm taking Charles. I think that the Ferrari upgrade, this is going to be their biggest of the year. I need at least a Ferrari podium to give me some points at some point. So I'm gonna once again, I'm here. I'm ready to be heard again. Give me Charles third place.
I am ready to
I'm
get my heart
every
broken again. I
weekend it's
love
the
it.
same. I'm ready to be heard again. So I'm gonna take Charles in the third spot. My shocker prediction. I think that we get the Williams double points that we've been hunting for. I think Williams hopefully bringing some upgrades and having just a little bit.
I'm glad you said it
I
before
know.
Paul could, because if Paul said it, it was
It was never
guaranteed to not
happening. So
happen.
Nope, I didn't. I did not. I didn't
I'm
write it
bringing
down.
goodwill to Williams this weekend. I think that they
Yes.
need a good, strong weekend. They've had several issues, obviously, with the car that were outside of their control, several that were inside their control. So I think that this is just the one. Williams seems to do better on the high-speed tracks, so I'm hoping for Williams this time.
Me too. Me too. All right, Paul, what do you got? What do you got for your predictions?
All right, listen. I just wrote mine down like 30 seconds ago. And so mine are exactly as Josh. I got Lando coming in first. I think this is where Lando really turns it around. I think he's got his swagger back and he's gonna run away with it. I got Oscar in second, and I got Charles in third. I think those Ferrari upgrades, they've shown good results in the sim. I hopefully, fingers crossed, it shows on track. And so yeah, I think he comes in third. My other prediction is I think Hulkenberg gets a top 10 finish.
Really want that for Hulk. Okay, mine. I went Oscar. I think Oscar is going to be thirsty for it. He's had a couple of races where he hasn't won, and I think he's going to be thirsty for it. And I think he's going to be driving elbows out against Lando. I've got Lando in second, and I put Max on a podium here. Max typically does pretty well in Spa, and I think given everything that's been going on, if there's one thing we know Max can do well, it's he can get out there and shut everything out and just drive. So I think it would be really cool for Max to go, I know that there's stuff going on in the media and I know there may be rumors, and I'm going to get out there and I'm going to get me a podium. I think it'd be cool to see. And I've got Haas in the points. I think Haas has been slowly progressing and chipping away, and I think we haven't talked about Haas enough. And I would be really excited to see Haas finish in the points and keep on rocking.
Both cars or just one car?
No, at least just one. I think Esteban
Okay.
Ocon is more likely. I think he's been really getting dialed in. But even Ollie these last few races has done pretty well. So I think it would be. I'd love to see double points, but I'm most likely just leaning. I just wrote Haas points. I did not put double points, and when I do double points, I do 2x. So I think my gut was just telling me we're gonna have a Haas in the points. So I'm more
Fair
likely
enough.
leaning towards Ocon. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
here
it'll be a
for it.
great race, though. Any other thoughts on Spa or wrapping up before we close out with one little note on some IndyCar stuff?
Nope. I'm excited. I'm ready to get going. This summer break dragged on a little too much, so
It
we're
was
ready to get
too
back.
long. It's like
We're
I
ready to get
usually like
back
kind of
to.
like look forward to it, but I think, like I always feel like silly season summer break feels like a break for me because usually I'm not as invested in other racing series. But with me having like hardcore dove into IndyCar and NASCAR this year, I'm like I've had no break, and then we had WEC back, and then like I've been watching some MotoGP stuff too. So I'm like there was no break for me. So I'm just ready to have F1 back in the mix. Okay,
Yeah,
well
we
then
had.
I was gonna say
Go no. I was
we
just gonna
had
move on to
some really
IndyCar.
great IndyCar races, and I know
Yeah, it was.
Paul is itching. So Paul, give us some quick IndyCar updates because I know you want to talk about it.
I mean, it was a fun race. Going into it, it rained that morning, that early morning, so all the grip was gone. So it was pretty much a crapshoot on what was the best strategy. You saw a lot of teams pretty much scrambling to figure things out. Nobody really knew what was going to happen. Colton Herta got pole position going into Sunday. So, but my boy Pato won. Super excited. Also, Penske is having a hard time. They're struggling. I'm happy for that because no one likes Team Penske. They're a bunch of freaking cheaters. Joseph Newgarden looked defeated. Screw him. I don't like him. But Pato came. Pato won. That's wins in back-to-back weekends. He is closing the gap between him and Alex Palou. We're at 99 points, the difference. So listen, a couple things go in Pato's way, a couple things go bad for Alex. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to come down towards the end, and I just can't wait. It's been a fun IndyCar season.
I agree. And Toronto is not a race like Pato was not expected to do well in Toronto.
No,
And so it was like
historically
all the
he's done
Toronto
really
front
bad.
runners. I don't know if y'all saw the thing that I posted that was I reposted from Arrow McLaren, and it was like it's that train meme. And it's like, and the other train like bulldozing into it. And it was like Toronto front runners. And then it was like Pato award winning. And I loved it because I do think like they talked a lot about Pato not doing well on this track.
Yeah,
And then his restart was absolute perfection. Like and even when he finished the race, I don't know if y'all heard his radio. He was like, "That's how you restart a race. Let's
absolutely.
go!" And I was
And
like,
it was a little bit of luck, and you need a little bit of luck to win. But did you hear his post race interview?
I mean, I listened to all of it, but what stood out to you?
His mechanic got pooped on by a bird, and Pato goes, "Hey, that means good luck. We're going to do really well today." And listen, it worked out for him. But also, kudos to second and third, Renus
Yeah,
McKay and Kiffin
Renus
Simpson.
BK and Kiffin,
I
Kiffin
mean,
first podium.
two two young drivers. That's the future of IndyCar. They've shown really good things. I think Renus had some couple good showings a couple races ago.
Yeah,
So for Kiffin, he started in 15th. Nobody thought that
like
was going to
lucky.
happen. The Dalmatian comes in to say hi. He had to make a little cameo. He says,
Let
"Dad,
me
we need
just
to
say
talk
about
more
Kiffin
racing."
Simpson's first podium too.
So I just love that some of the young drivers are getting their time in the spotlight. Good for them.
Me too.
And yeah,
Yeah, I'm excited. And like, especially coming off 2 weekends of like, being a McLaren fan, coming off of F1, McLaren wins with Lando, coming off of two back-to-back weekend wins for Pato. I am so excited. I'm going to my first IndyCar race this weekend at Laguna Seca. It's at the WeatherTech Raceway in California, in Salinas, California. So I am super, super pumped to go. The corkscrew, some of the IndyCar drivers call this the Super Bowl of IndyCar. And so I'm
really.
super, super pumped. People love the corkscrew track. I am super, super excited. I've never been to IndyCar. I had no idea. I didn't like even crowdsource like what tickets to buy. I was like, I don't even know what to do. So I bought tickets to overlook turn one. They're like on the rooftop of this building and it overlooks turn one. But just from like meeting all these other girls from like from TikTok and following their podcasts and stuff, I've talked about the accessibility at IndyCar races. I know y'all are going to your first one in Nashville in August. I
Yep,
just
I bought my tickets a few days ago.
I'm so excited to go to mine and be able to be like boots on the ground, posting videos for us this weekend, and we'll just see how it goes. But I'm really hoping the Pato momentum can continue into this weekend. I'm gonna try to get there early enough on Sunday to be able to go do like the driver signings, I take cards, get hat signed and stuff, and be able to see the cars. So I think it'll be super cool. I'll definitely post videos showing what it's like to be at an IndyCar race, what kind of accessibility you have, and then next week we'll kind of be able to talk about what it's like at the difference of like going to F1 races versus IndyCar. So a lot of firsts for us this year, all of our first IndyCar races, your first F1 races. So a lot of good stuff in store for the Apex. It's going to be a
Yeah,
blast.
I was surprised with how much. So the ticket for Nashville, you get Indy Next and
Yeah.
IndyCar and paddock passes and gates open at 8 a.m. and you're there all day and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it'll be
It's super
great. And so
accessible.
I'll be able to kind of give you some pointers and like things I learned from being able to go to Laguna Seca, and then you'll be able to
Oh, I
apply it
can't
for
wait.
Nashville. And who knows, maybe I get a oh gosh, is Josh okay?
Oh,
Is
I'm
it the
dying.
is that the ghost of Principal's
That'll,
past haunting
yeah,
He
us?
is struggling over there.
yeah.
No. Hopefully I'll be able to give you some pointers, and who knows, maybe I get a great thrift flip and I'm able to somehow swing Nashville too.
Listen, if I could just leave Nashville with a Pato autograph, it would make my day. And hopefully, maybe it comes down because Nashville is the last race of the year. Maybe the championship comes down to the
I
last race
know.
of the
Could
I
be
was
cool.
year,
thinking
and
about that for
I
you.
was like, whoa, because I bought my tickets right at the finish line. So I'm gonna be able to watch it right there. So I'm super pumped. And the
It's gonna be
pricing
great.
for it, I was for two tickets and two paddock passes for IndyCar, I paid what I paid for one grandstand at F1.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's
Yeah,
that's
I
how it
loved
is.
it. It was
We did hospitality tickets because I was like, it's my first one. I don't know. I don't know how this goes. So I was like, I'd rather like go and have my first experience be like done for me, right? And for the full weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, hospitality, food and drinks included at the rooftop terrace that overlooks turn one that you can actually see the entire track from. Those were $600 a ticket, which I don't feel is asinine for hospitality at a
no,
motorsport event.
especially when you find out how much F1 is charging for hospitality
Oh my
stuff.
God.
I know I'm still trying to make everything happen for Singapore, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I gotta figure this out. I gotta find more money.
Well, wherever you
More,
find it, let
more
me know.
money.
I want some.
I'll let you know where I find more money. Joe was like, you're bringing home these insane thrift hauls. And I'm like, I know, but I have to make more money to get us more tickets.
Yes,
Poor Josh's
that's
wife
awesome.
just gets like these like 3-minute videos of my thrift
She's
hauls.
always so jealous too. She's like, I don't know how Meredith finds all this stuff.
It's okay. It's reciprocating because then she'll send me hers. And I'm like, oh, that's way better than mine. Okay, team. Well, any closing thoughts before we wrap this one up?
Nope, F1 is back. This is not a drill. We are excited. We are pumped. And yeah, IndyCar is getting better and better every weekend. Here we thought Alex was just going to run away with it, but things are getting spicy.
I am loving it. At the beginning of the season, I definitely thought we were having like Max Verstappen 2023 season for Alex
It was
Palou.
starting to look like that when he
Yeah.
won like 4 or 5 in a row. And it's like, God damn it, dude. Can you stop winning? But
Well,
Pato,
but like
Pato is our
also the thing
savior.
about like when racing gets tight like this, it gets media attention and it gets more people watching. Like last season, I watched a lot of IndyCar races. I didn't watch every IndyCar race because of how it's been since May for IndyCar. I have watched every single race religiously, and I just think it's good for motorsports in general.
The other thing I've been enjoying about this year when it comes to IndyCar, Will Buxton really immersing himself in the American culture. He is going to baseball games. He is eating some huge hot dogs. That man is just living his American dream right now, and I love following him on social media.
That's great. It's so good. I saw so many people posting their TikToks like meeting him at these
Yeah,
events, and he just seems like
yeah.
he's having a dang good time now. Not
Man,
that he
he is just
wasn't in
having
F1, but like he seems like he is genuinely loving this move to IndyCar, and I love that for him.
yeah. I'm super pumped for him. He's really, I don't want to say rejuvenated his career, but you can see a different level of excitement when it comes to IndyCar in him.
Yeah. Well, with that, we will sign out for the week. We'll post clips throughout the week. If there's any breaking news, we'll obviously hop on and share that. I'll be boots on the ground at Laguna Seca this weekend for IndyCar, and we'll post our reviews, and then we'll be back next week. But we hope you all have an awesome week. We'll talk soon.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Take care, everyone.